Rocky Mountains, the crossroads of the West. You are listening to the Liberty Roundtable Radio Talk Show.
Happy to have you along, my fellow Americans. Sam Bushman and Kurt Cosby live on your radio with hard-hitting news the networks refuse to use. As always, this is the broadcast for May 2nd in the year of our Lord, 2011. This is hour 3 of 3 as we promote God, family, and country on your radio and the traditions of our founding fathers. My fellow Americans, we use the supreme law of the land, the Constitution of the United States of America, the Bill of Rights, and the Declaration of Independence. We simply call it the Blueprint for Freedom, the title of liberty. Kurt Cosby with me. Welcome to the broadcast, sir.
Buenos dias. Greetings and salutations. Howdy, howdy, howdy.
We also have the internationalforecaster.com, our buddy Bob Chapman on the line. Welcome back to the broadcast, sir.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Oh, you didn't say buenos dias, Bob. Come on now.
Buenos dias.
There you have it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're ready to roll. The mighty Osama. Obama's got Osama. Oh, yeah, they said, oh, we caught him. We were in a big old firefight in Pakistan, and we had a raid, and we got him, and we shot him in the head, and now he's dead, and we have his body, and then the next headline that came out for the New York Times is, oh, he slipped into the sea. We don't have his body anymore, and I'm saying it's a bunch of bogus, Bob. It's propaganda big time.
I have to hark back to the mid-1980s. And,
yes, sir.
The wrapping up of the Iran-Contra affair.
Oh, yeah, it smacks of the same, does it not?
And, yes, and Ollie North let the whole deal out of the bag when he said, well, I had to protect myself from the most dangerous man in the world, Osama bin Laden. Well, nobody knew who he was at that time. And he had been working as an asset in Pakistan and Afghanistan for the Central Intelligence Agency. And I started to write about him in 1988. An incident happened in 2007 to a CIA MI6 operative. That operative was recruited in 1971 by someone who I knew. And I didn't know at that time that he was recruiting the person in question, which is a woman. And so what happened was the CIA and MI6 were going back and forth, and during the ensuing years, I came to know counterintelligence people in Europe. I'm not going to tell you what country because it'll give it away.
Mm-hmm.
And in Australia as well. And these several people I came to know quite well. And they told me the whole story of Benazir Bhutto and how she'd been recruited as an agent. And she was a brilliant woman. And she said in 2007, I think it was in March or April, on public television that Osama bin Laden died in the year 2000. And it wasn't long just after that she supposedly fractured her skull because the top of the bulletproof limousine that she was in Pakistan didn't function correctly and she hit her head on it. What really happened is somebody shot her right through the middle of the head because she stood up inside of that limo and was exposed to the public. She was waving to them, and a CIA assassin took her out. So they didn't want the world to know that bin Laden was dead, and she blew her cover. And they were really mad about that. And the guy that recruited her, I knew him quite well, and he was in counterintelligence with me. And to this day, he's furious about them whacking her. And so the whole story about bin Laden that you're now seeing rushed across the airways. In fact, I was watching television in London this morning about 4 or 5 hours ago. And who do they have on there but this geek from Chatham House? Well, for those of you who don't know what Chatham House is, the black nobility of Europe run the Illuminati. And they're one of their think tanks, not only the universities and the foundations, but also Chatham House, which reports directly to the Queen. So when you see them up there saying, oh, we got this guy and so on and so forth, the whole thing is balderdash.
It's absolutely bogus.
Propaganda setup.
But you can see it.
And wait a minute, why are they doing this? Again, just like the Middle Eastern stuff that's going on. They want to divert people's thinking away from the real problem, which is economic and financial collapse and chaos, which are in the middle of. And that's why they did that.
I agree with you, and you can see this problem, or you can see this lie. One of the headlines on the Drudge Report right now, not that I trust Drudge, but this is kind of mainstream press stuff they're touting here, and that is things like this. Barack says I directed them and they got him. Yeah, like Barack really directed affairs to get Osama. Bush Jr. couldn't do it. Nobody could do it. And hey,
wait a minute.
He got it done.
Bush couldn't do it because he goes to the wrong bathhouse.
Good point. And he couldn't do it because they wanted that game, that propaganda, that sideshow to continue. Oh, you can't get the most, Osama. But it's interesting to me that Obama rhymes with Osama, and we can digress a little bit. But we get into this idea where they have very funny names for things. They have very interesting, I don't know what you say, symbolism. They love that kind of strange stuff.
They call it craftsmanship.
Yeah, there you go. They love that stuff. So Osama got Obama. Obama got Osama kind of thing. It's just crazy. And at first you think this is just kind of, once in a while coincidence stuff. But you look at the name, for example, Madoff. Oh, Madoff with the cash now, didn't he? Kind of thing. Now they say, oh, no, that's not Madoff, Sam, it's Madoff. But I'm just saying they play games with this kind of weird stuff all the time, don't they?
That's right. That's right. They are some weird people. And that organization, that encompasses 3 or 4 or 5 organizations now, they have 2 groups of people, the straight thinkers who don't care, and the weirdos. And there's some real weirdos. I just got with another guy who was in the agency, and there was this guy, I think his name was Ginsburg, I can't remember, and he did all of the crazy things in the CIA. He had this laboratory and everything, and I never was privy to any of that. But this guy was. How I uncovered it was...
All right, hold on. Let me take a break. When we come back, You can tell the story. Bob Chapman with us, ladies and gentlemen. I'm telling you, man, if you want the premier financial newsletter, comes out twice a week in your inbox. Available at theinternationalforecaster.com, theinternationalforecaster.com. Bob Chapman's on your radio. Osama's death is fake. It's bogus. He's been dead for a while on your radio. Back with you live, ladies and gentlemen. Sam, Kurt, you got Bob Chapman on the line, ladies and gentlemen. Bob Chapman, theinternationalforecaster.com, theinternationalforecaster.com. I was saying right before the break that they have this crazy idea. They have all this symbolism, and they love things to happen on the same days, and they love to play games with strange names, and whenever some weird scandal happens, the name fits the scandal, strangely enough. We've seen it so many times, it's beyond coincidence. Bob Chapman now telling us he knew a guy in the CIA that was responsible for, actually he knew a guy who had a friend in the CIA that was responsible for a lot of that. You were telling us how that came to be, Bob.
Well, it was another fellow I met, and he told me about his experience. And after talking to him for several times, I said, you worked for the agency when you were in Vietnam. And he looked at me and he said, how did you know that? And I told him how I backed into it. And he said, yeah, you're right. So in one of our conversations over a year or two, I asked him if he ever went into where they had the laboratory and they used to do all these crazy things. He said, oh, yeah. He said, that guy was mad as a hatter. And so it bore out something I had heard of, but didn't know for sure. But this guy was retired, and he's probably about 78 or 9 now, and had many of the kinds of experiences I had. So we get along quite well together.
Yeah, you ready for the latest one?
Go ahead.
The latest one says this. It's a headline now. They love to tout this stuff. Bin Laden and Adolf Hitler both declared dead on May 1st, sir. Oh, how convenient.
Well, and that's all of their symbolism. But if you notice what former Homeland Security Director Michael Chertoff, that Israeli citizen who is running Homeland Security in the United States, he said, oh, yes, Bin Laden's dead, but now it might get worse than ever because these other terrorists may be worse than he was. So it's the same old stirring of the pot, leading everybody in the wrong direction, then giving them hope and pulling it away all within 24 hours. Nothing but another big lie. And unfortunately, throughout the world, half the people in the world fall for it, and because they're not educated, or nor do their minds think in those paths, so to speak.
Now, what's this guy's name? Ayman al-Manaziri? I don't know how to say his name. Is that the guy that's second in command?
Supposedly.
Yeah. That's their next, quote, supposed boogeyman. We probably built that guy up over a couple of generations with billions of dollars as well, huh?
Right. This is all part of an ancient game that they're playing here. And, the strategy doesn't change too much. And if you follow what they've done in the past, you know exactly what they're going to do in the future. And
that's why I say their plan is just to create a...
close. And that's why in my publication, I'm right 98% of the time. I see, the same people making the same mistakes because they don't know what the heck they're talking about. They don't know the history of things like this. I mean, one of these people in the last couple of days was all for Donald Trump. Well, Donald Trump is nothing but another stalking horse for whatever they've got planned in the future. And he's been saved from bankruptcy innumerable times. And the guy's just one of them. And all the things he says sound good, but believe me, he's not on our side.
And he brought up the birth certificate, in my opinion, eventually to get discredited. Now they released it. Now he's not talking about it. It was all designed to take that stuff off the table. It's going to get worse for them, but that was their agenda with Trump.
Right.
All I can tell you is the real issues are financial, ladies and gentlemen. This sideshow about they found the Obama took down Osama, is just a big old bunch of bogus. Oh, yeah, Osama and Hitler killed on the same day, May 1st. Wow. And it's almost a mayday for deceit and manipulation and lies, ladies and gentlemen. The truth is it's a financial issue. Things are getting worse, not better, big time. And the difference is Americans are starting to put two and two together because it's affecting their wallets now that gas is just through the stratosphere. And now that food is going up, up, up and away, they're not able to hide the inflation anymore, Bob, and Americans are starting to see it for what it is.